the madhouse.
Cheers to episode 32.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Wait, but now didn't Evan mess it up? Because don't you guys usually go to episode 32?
No, we usually just say cheers. Last week I changed it up and I said to episode 31 because I messed up.
Wow. I'm so lost on the intro. I drank, this is Tito's, water, and Mio. We're back.
Mm-hmm.
Corona premiere. Back.
Water, where I should be drinking something hardcore right now. So
Evan is not
I dropped
back.
the ball.
But would you admit you should be? It basically means the boys are all basically back. You know, back, ready to
Almost
drink.
Fully back.
Ready to drink again.
Yeah. Countdown to the camping trip.
16
days away.
16 days away.
days.
Love that for us. Today we were recording Tuesday, August 3rd at 6:43 p.m. and the Pistons did not mess up. The first pick in the draft, which means this podcast is not dead yet because we were on life support going into that thing.
No solo podcast for me.
It's a shame. I'm
is.
sure that people would have loved it.
I got told this weekend that someone really would have enjoyed if I had a solo podcast.
Who?
Ben said he would listen intently.
I think he's just being a good friend.
Probably.
How was everyone's week? What's new in your life?
I'll go first. Mine's probably not as interesting as Alex.
Don't
Let's
sell
see, last
yourself
time we
short.
talked last week. Nothing really. Weekend, Friday, went to the movies with Cody and Evan. Saw the movie Old. Do not recommend it. Low quality.
What was a quick synopsis of it? Spoiler.
Quick snaps. Okay, spoilers. I am spoilers ahead.
Do it.
People with diseases get like tracked down by this resort, and then they try to do like certain tests on them when they get there, and so they know all their medical information, and then they send them off into this private beach area on this resort, and this beach like turns them old.
Wait,
like,
is this
super
that?
fast. So they can do testing
Is this
faster, like you see their medical records in a day instead of over an entire lifespan. Or if they die within like 24 hours because it's like you age so fast there.
Is this that one that was getting advertised everywhere by M. Night Shyamalan? He made this movie.
Yeah, he's shout out him, the director. I think he's in the movie. He just put himself into it. I guess it's his thing now.
I think he's supposed to be like really good. People throw his name around, but maybe chop him because it sounds like his movie stunk and he like.
Well, this movie was not. Just a couple things I would have changed differently. Acting was below par. I think they didn't get any big names or people I recognize. So
I'm
There's
IMDbing
that.
this guy. I need to know about what he does. I hear his name way too often. What's he known for? No movies I like. It's
that's what he's known for.
The Sixth Sense, Lady in the Water, Signs, The Village. No. Sorry. Out on this guy.
You should be out on the movie too.
I won't watch it. I
I'm
I'm
promise you
watching the
that.
trailer.
It was advertised everywhere. It's messed up.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It was one of those trailers that like scared me, and they always showed it.
There wasn't that many.
Is there-
It was like rated PG-13, so it wasn't
Oh.
even that like.
A lot of death in this movie.
There was a lot of people died, but they didn't show like the actual like death part. They would like cut away.
Oh.
Like spoilers, a girl's like climbing the rocks and like just like passes out and falls backwards. You don't see her body hitting the ground because it's rated PG-13.
This looks very weird.
All right. Well, you saw
It is very weird.
how was
And
That was
the
Friday night.
talk to me about the movie experience. I haven't been since COVID happened. Like, what's it like?
Okay, so this is my second movie that I've gone to, and we usually are big Imagine fans. Not an ad.
Not a big deal.
That's in Saline. But we went to MJR. Evan's a huge fan of MJR.
Why?
Go
No offense,
to the
MJR.
show where the good
MJR
times
is
are.
back. Their seats are less worn down because Imagine's so popular, where Imagine's like MJR's not as popular. So like I sat in a seat and it was one of the most comfortable movie seats I've ever sat in my life. You just like sank into it. It was like cushioning. It was supportive. It was so nice. Seat quality, A+.
Interesting.
Now this is where everybody's going to start comparing the two. Imagine you ask for butter, they fill up half of it, put butter on it. Fill up the rest of it, put butter on top of it. Where MJR, you have to put butter on yourself, and they just hand you the bag, and now you're trying to shake it up and put like butter throughout the entire thing. Doesn't happen. You basically just get butter like the top quarter, and then by the time you get to the bottom, you're just eating dry popcorn.
With how you are with grocery shopping, I'm not surprised that the butter popcorn ratio is such a problem for you.
Well, it is. It's for everyone.
It's a big, like, you go to the movie theaters, like, you get popcorn.
Evan, have you seen the hack, though, to get around that, the MJR way? Take a straw, you stick it in the bag, and then you funnel the butter through the straw so it gets down to the bottom of the bag.
I don't remember how I was able to acquire a straw, but with COVID policies, I don't think they just have like the straw sitting out anymore.
Oh.
They have it like in the individual wrapper, so you have to like request a second straw. There was not really any seasonings, but
No
I think overall quality is pretty good.
seasoning
MJR is not too bad.
And they have the best intro song in the game.
And you get to clap during the intro. There was probably like 6 other people, not counting me, Evan, and Cody, into the entire movie theater, so the clap wasn't very loud.
Wow, big box office day for Old by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. Then Saturday, my night was weird Saturday.
I heard it.
Weird.
Heard it was a cinematic experience.
It was, and it didn't stop until after I left Sunday morning because the weirdness continued into Sunday morning.
Whoa.
Do you need to talk about this
shout out.
off the record?
What?
Do you need to talk about this off the record?
Oh, no, I'm just going to like touch on some points. Shout out Colby. Can't hang with the big dogs.
Wow.
Ryan can't shotgun like with the big dogs. Ask him how his side yard
Are
is.
you the big dogs? Who's the big dogs?
Yeah, me and Cody are the big dogs.
Okay.
Like we walk in there and we're okay to handle ourselves. Yeah, and then the Tesla just like drives us to Taco Bell, and we never make it to Taco Bell. Shout out everybody that was there Saturday night. They know the story. Very weird night. And then Sunday didn't really do much. Oh, Sunday had baseball travel, tryouts, super intense situations. Then last night, golf. Drew and I, we kicked butt. We beat 2 guys that were in third, I think. We beat them 20.5 to 9.5.
Wow. Just like we beat
Drew
you.
shot well. What?
Just the same score we beat you last week.
Uncalled for, Alex. Evan's back.
True. But we bounced back. I shot 3 over. My handicap was an 8, so I shot 5 under my handicap. Wow. Yeah, it was great. Parred 5 of the last 6 holes. Played really well.
Shout out you.
Were you in that zone? We talked about a different podcast where it's like how many consecutive golf shots have you hit in a row that were like what you wanted? Did you get in a zone where you had like 3 or 4 in a row?
Not really. I think I would say I scrambled pretty well. Like my first tee shot of the day. So we were me and Drew were the first group to tee off. And now people are like warming up on the practice green, which is right behind the first tee box. People are lining up on the cart path. And I'm the first group, and I always tee up first. Unless the other group wants to tee off first, then I let them. But like if Drew and I are teeing up first, like I tee off before Drew. And I swear, I think I hit my tee shot like 80 yards. Like I barely made contact with the ball. I hit so far behind it, took a chunk out of the tee box, and then hit the ball, and it dribbled. It barely got off the ground.
Wow.
Heard about it.
I saved that. Yep. I hit a nice hybrid, just get it up there into the fairway, was 200 yards out, put it on the green, still had a birdie putt with hitting my drive 80 yards.
Wow. What a hybrid shot.
Grant, you know the first tee box. I didn't even make it to the women's tee box.
Oh.
So tee box, and then like it's up the hill to the women's tee box. I don't even think I made it to the hill. I was still down on the flat.
A dribbler.
Yeah, so 80 yards is generous, more like probably like 50, 60.
That's foreshadowing some golf talk that happened to someone else on this podcast.
True.
So you want me to go before you then?
You can.
Okay. So this weekend, I played in a men's partner invitational member guest format. I was the guest with former guest on the show, Cody.
With a K.
With a K, but that doesn't help you guys if you don't know. The not ginger one.
Game of Thrones guy.
Game of Thrones Cody.
Mikey 429.
Yeah. First listener question.
Southeast Mikey.
So I played. It was a 3-day tournament, kind of. It was really a 2-day. Thursday was a practice round, best ball format. There's skins and such. And I played pretty bad Thursday. I mean, I shot like an 83 or something. I'm not totally sure. I don't remember exactly. Played a lot of golf. But I had the chip yips on Thursday. So duffing chips, blading chips, really bad. So I was pretty worried. My partner was pretty nervous about how I was going to perform. And so then Friday morning, reset my mind. And we had 3 matches on Friday. So basically how it works is there's 9 points per match. Each match is 9 holes. And it's a best ball format. So the lowest score between your partners is the score that counts for your team. And if you have a better score than the other team on the hole, you get 1 point. And if you tie, half point.
So easy, I can even understand it.
Yep, super easy. So then you're broken into flights, and the winner of all the flights go into a shootout. So you got to win your flight before you can do anything.
Like a round robin travel baseball tournament.
Yeah. So we were in flight 2, second best flight. First match, it was a grinder. Absolutely just took years off my life mentally. And we pulled out a 5-4 win on the final hole. So that was huge. Second match, our opponents were a little tipsy, and we won 8-1. So that in terms of the invite and how that works, that's a beat down. That does not happen very often. So after the first 2 matches, we're in first place. Third match, we lose a devastating match to longtime listener. Won't say his name. But he tried to mentally rattle me. I don't think it worked. I was just didn't play that great. And we lost by a point. So we didn't get crushed, just lost by a point. His partner made eagle from 100 yards and then birdied the hole after that. So not much you can do, really.
Big time shots.
So then you sleep on it. You go into Saturday. So we were in first in terms of points going into Saturday morning. Got a quick 2-point lead in our opening match. So we were feeling good. And then I fell apart in the opening match on Saturday. Caught some trees. Not good. And we ended up tying the match. So we go into the final match, up 1 point. So through 7 holes, I was playing well. My partner kind of was not playing his best at that point.
Whoa.
We kind of flopped.
Let him defend himself.
Well, I'm going to get to his, saving. And so we're on our third to last hole, and we're down a point because we caught up to the group ahead of us. They told us how the match went. My partner then, so we realized we needed to make a birdie. We needed to win this hole. My partner from 100 yards stuck it, nearly holed out for eagle, taps in for birdie to tie with the other team. The other team loses the next hole. We win the next hole, and we advanced to the glorious shootout, chance to win it all. That's what you're there for, to win it all, not just your flight.
That's an electric finish in the flight matches.
Incredible. Cody and I
is like intense situation. Like Cody had them hit that 100-yard shot, just like you have to birdie that hole, and Cody sticks it. I don't know how you don't like Tiger fist bump. Not a Tiger fan. I don't know how you don't Tiger fist bump all the way up, like all the way to the green, just from like 100 yards. Just nonstop doing that.
The best part of it. So they were on the tee box. The team we were losing to, or tied with, I guess, were on 2's tee box, and we were on 1. So they were watching because they were waiting. And Cody hit his shot, lands left of the pin, and was tracking towards the hole and missed by like that much. Almost went in. Everyone was screaming. I was like running down the fairway with my hands up. It was pretty awesome. Then I lipped out the birdie putt, and then he made his. So I almost actually birdied anyways myself. Not that matters.
It's crazy knowing that how the story ends. I didn't know that part, how clutch it was to get in the shootout.
Yeah, that was a really awesome moment. Then the shootout, so I kind of explained. So now it's the 9 flight winners, teams of 2. So there's 18 people.
Let me hop in a little here. So
Grant showed up for this.
Yeah, so the lifelong listener that may or may not have routed you called me. I was in town, get a quick call, like, hey, get out. Like Alex and Cody made the shootout. I live like 2 minutes from the course. I'm like, all right, I'll pop out because I had like an hour till I had to be somewhere. I was like, I'll go see he's like, yeah, people can show up. So I'm like, all right, this is like a member guest. I don't even know if I'm allowed to go. I show up. I'm like, all right. Alex is super nervous. Cody was like
Terrified.
deep down. I guess he was nervous. He didn't show it
Cody
as much
told
as Alex.
me he was terrified. He was trying to act calm, but he was very nervous.
So yeah, I'll let you continue the flight, but I'm gonna hop in here because I had a different probably perspective than Alex did on the whole thing.
So 18 people all try to play the hole at once. Okay.
Yeah, 9 groups of 2.
You're announced, tee off.
Probably 60 to 70 people watching.
Yeah,
Does that
ton
seem
of
right?
carts everywhere, just, a cluster.
And also music playing nonstop. Like I thought that was gonna
Music,
get turned off.
talking.
But everyone playing their iHome speakers at once. It's pretty loud.
Yep. So I hit my tee shot. It was all right. It was a little balloony. And
Pretty good tee shot,
little
I'd say.
fade. Just missed the fairway.
Little
Very
high.
important detail. Just missed the fairway.
Yeah. And your partner, Cody,
Partner
munched the
blasted
ball.
right
but it went right.
and behind a tree. So this is where it just gets dicey. So we're going. Cody's driving, and like I said, Cody's a little nervous, so he's pretty locked in on like finding his ball. So he drives right past mine, doesn't stop for me, goes to his ball, and so hits it. He tried to go over some trees, caught the tree, drops down just in the fairway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting at my ball without a club.
And that just because Cody's the guy that always told me that trees are 90% air.
Yeah.
And he stuck to that philosophy. And in that moment, it just did not work out.
Yeah, I told him to play it safe. He
smacked a branch.
He was confident. He hit the tree.
It was a great shot. Just hit
He hit it well. It's fine. So I get to my ball, and people had already, the cart started moving because Cody went past mine. So people didn't realize that I hadn't hit yet.
Alex is the last person to hit
The
his
last
second
one to
shot.
hit his second shot.
I mean, some people duffed their shots, so they were hitting 3, but everyone had moved on. He's the last guy to hit his second shot.
So by the time I get to my ball,
40 people behind him in carts, I'd say.
get to my ball, it has been clearly ran over. It is just like embedded in the ground. And the rough is already thick to begin with, and I can like barely see it. And I'm like, oh no. Like I grab a pitching wedge. I'm just gonna hit pitching wedge. Cody's like, no, you can get a 6-iron on it. I'm like, well, I can try. And in the moment, I'm like super jittery, nervous, amped up. There's carts everywhere. My ball's buried. I didn't ask if I could move it because it got ran over.
That's what I'm saying, Evan. That's what I'm saying. How do you not look up and say,
I don't
hey,
know. I
someone
was
ran over my
just
ball?
super panicked. And so I tried to hit it. And as you could guess, I topped the living death out of it. Went like 15 yards.
I thought of the perfect way to describe how the shot came off. So you know how a lot of trash cans have like a little foot pedal so you can pop open the lid? It was as if Alex's ball was sitting on that lid and someone hit the foot pedal and just popped in the air and rolled like 2 feet. That's exactly what the shot did. Came out of the ground, popped up, dropped down. A big like, everyone looked around like, oh God. I think I put my hand over my face. I was like, Jesus.
Yep. I just did a courtesy wave to all the carts. Like, yep, I topped it. But like no one realized that my ball was just like underground. So I top it.
Evan, wait, he should have said something, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. If I see my ball is embedded because of tire tracks, and I noticed that there was tire tracks that went over my ball, I'm screaming my head off, asking for a ruling on this.
And also, one of the people that was like running the tournament was like
right there
within
I
earshot.
just didn't. I don't know.
Panic City.
Didn't.
Coming from the guy who says he likes to stick up for himself no matter what.
I didn't in that moment.
Beta move. Oh my gosh.
It was a pretty nerve-wracking.
Keep it on record.
Topped
Keep it on
it.
record.
It was beta.
So then I got so now I'm the first person to hit my third shot other than the couple people that duffed their tee shots. And so I hit a 3-wood, put it like 9. We played in hole 3, Evan, if you know that one. Par 5.
Oh.
Yeah, I hated it. Par 5. It should never have been a par 5 either, but it was. So then I hit my 3-wood to about 90 yards out. My partner puts his just in front of the bunker. I put mine on the left side of the green. The pin is on the right on a downhill slope, almost impossible. And I'm on the back left of the green. So I'm screwed. I try my putt for par. I wanted to try to make it. Par would advance. And I hit a pretty good putt. It was going super slow. Gets to the hole, cuts off in front of the hole, and then just slowly just keeps rolling until, like 1 rotation per 2 seconds. Like dog slow. all the way to the bottom of the green. Just go up and whack it up there and make my 7. And I'm just like putting all my eggs into my partner's basket. He hits a good chip. He's got about a 7-footer for par for us to move on. I tell him multiple times, just hit it hard, get it there. And, the probably the thought in his head was that I made a 7. We're not even in for 6. Probably crossed his mind. He leaves it short, kind of like a couple feet short. No one really had given it to him yet, I don't think. And he just walks up and knocked it in super confidently. And I was like, whoa. Wow. That was terrifying. Go to a chip off. Member gets the chip, so I have to watch. And I told him, just do your best. Get it there. Left it short. And then the next guy up almost makes it. So we got eliminated on hole 1. And that's where our journey ended. And it was devastating. And 365 days from now, I'll be back and I'll be ready for the shootout this time. And I will put my ball in the fairway so it doesn't matter if it gets ran over. But it was really fun.
Wouldn't it still matter if it got ran over in the fairway?
It would be more likely to kick up.
I think what you just took out of that is the wrong mentality. I think next time if you hit it in the rough and your ball gets ran over, you just say something.
Oh, for sure. I'll definitely have to say something.
No one's in a rush. I know it felt like everyone was in a rush, but to wrap up that tournament, it probably takes at least an hour and a half to play 4 holes. So
it took a good
you might as well just say, hey, someone ran over my ball. I don't care who. Can I move it, sir, officer of the tournament? Yeah, no problem.
Well, never had been in that situation. You learn from it. And if I get back to it, it's hard to win your flight to begin with. So hopefully I get another chance at it.
Yeah, you may never get back to that point. Wow.
But yeah, the favorite, Flight 1, they did not win. So Flight 3 ended up winning. Good for them. It was a lot of fun. A lot of drinking, a lot of fun.
Anything else for your recap, really? Or that really is what was on your mind?
And
last night's golf league.
Last night's golf league. I played a lot of golf this weekend. I was a little golfed out. And I transitioned from fast greens to slow greens, and I did not play very well. I shot a 44. Worst round of the year for me.
Wow. Evan?
So he comes off and he asked me how I did, and I said it went well. And he's like, oh, we didn't play that well, but they split 15, 15, 15 and a half.
We did split point-wise pretty much, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm golfed out. Not 2 minutes later, what do I see him doing? He's over there playing extra holes. So is he really golfed out?
Well, you can't turn down extra holes. And I ended up winning all the money in the extra holes, too. Well, I didn't drive there. My partner did, my father. So if he wanted to play extra holes, I'm not just going to sit there and watch.
The boys love golf. What can you say?
I do love golf. I do. It's a great time.
Didn't get an invite for the extra holes. Feels bad.
I sat on the tee box.
That's the second time, but I feel like you've missed it. Where they've talked about playing.
Yeah, it is.
It just doesn't seem like extra holes needs to be an invite thing. I thought if we were going.
It does. When there was only 2 people, so foursome was the only ones playing the extra holes, you need to be invited. If there was 10 or 12 people over there, then you just show up and nobody's going to say anything.
How well do you know those 4 people by chance?
Very well, but I didn't even know that they were playing extra holes. So it sounds like something I'm just hey.
The divide is a quick phone call. Hey, we're going to play extra holes. You want to go?
It was Lou.
Hey, we're playing extra holes. Don't put your bags away. I'd be like, yes, I'm down.
When did you put your bags away?
After I shot a 39, I would want to play extra
He would have won
holes.
that money.
But I didn't know if your bag was out. I mean, how would I know that? I didn't know I was playing extra holes till the second.
You know how you know is you call them and communicate, and you just say,
call them while I'm playing golf. I was the last group. Evan was the first group. Keep that in mind.
It just seems like a recurring
I never
pattern.
saw you until you were on 4 and I was on 8.
Yeah, it just didn't.
All right, wow.
Hey, you were the last group. Did I get my closest 2 on 8?
No.
Devastating. That was a live break.
I
You beat me?
I beat your spot.
Hard to believe.
Part of my recap was Alex's golf, obviously. Other than that, I did what most people across the country might be doing. I shouldn't say most. It's a pretty popular show. I watched all of Outer Banks season 2 in one night, one sitting. What does that mean? That's 10 40-plus minute episodes.
All in a row.
Took me until 3 a.m. Didn't feel great about it. Felt kind of gross. Are we in the trust tree right? I won't spoil anything because it's still being watched. But are we in the trust tree right now?
Yeah, we are.
I teared up in episode 1.
Oh, you already. Yeah.
Real tears came to my eyes in episode 1 of this show.
Whoa.
Evan, I've tried to tell you to watch the show.
And I teared up in the last episode of season 1. And this is the only thing I've ever watched on TV that made me tear up. So it's kind of weird. I don't know if I'm getting soft or what. I don't cry really, but something about the show, just I wouldn't call it crying. It's just like when water fills your eyes. I was like, wow, what's going on, Grant? Pull it together. It's a TV show.
Evan, do you need to ask the listeners for a Netflix login or something?
Like I've told you probably once, when I'm home in the summer, like I don't watch TV. Like I don't have like really time. I don't like am not committed to like watching TV other than sports.
Agreed.
Like I don't have the capability of to like sit down and watch Netflix or Disney Plus for hours. But when I go back to school, like I have a list of shows that I need to watch, and I committed to watching those.
This should be on the top of the list.
Yes, from everything I see, but I do see a lot of TikToks that makes me want to watch it soon.
Yes, I know what you're saying. I'm not even going to bonk you for that because it's deserved. Great show. Highly recommend. Maybe next episode we'll do a brief. No, we're not going to review because I doubt that many people that listen to the show have the Venn diagram of people that have also watched it. It's probably pretty small. But I can't talk about it yet. It's too early in it. And not many people are psychos and watch it in one night. Other than that, before we get into the main topics, the last thing I have is tensions are a little bit high between Alex and I as we sit here right now because my soccer team is trying to acquire his soccer team's best player. Some people would call him the best striker in the world. Also, Alex, I politely asked for you to do your cheesecake review at the end of the show, and you're just eating it right now.
Dude, this is so good. You gotta try this. Really good. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Here's the thing: when people say you gotta try this, and there's no spoon for me, what am I supposed to do?
You want to use mine?
No, that's disgusting.
It's pretty good though. I might use the whole thing.
You ruin the end of the show. That's all right. Now
I can do it again. I'll save some.
Now tensions are more high. Basically, from my perspective, Man City, club I root for, is very close to signing Harry Kane.
I wouldn't say it's that close.
He is doing a old-fashioned holdout of camp where he's just not going to show up until
he's coming on Thursday.
And then when he does show up, I guess he's going to sit down with the head guy and say, "Hey, I wanted this dumpster fire because I asked you to leave earlier and you won't let me go." And we have the money.
He signed a contract.
We have the money to spend, so be on the lookout for that. If you see that breaking news, it's not a soccer podcast, but if you see that news, just know that there's some tough times for either Alex or myself. I won't be that disappointed. We'll probably just win the Premier League again without him. But I'd like to have him.
We're not winning the Premier League with him or without him, so I'm ready to move forward.
All right. Let's dive into Detroit sports. Get back the attention of everyone. The Detroit Pistons, baby. The NBA draft, free agency. Probably will never have a news cycle like we just had ever again, the way that the timing worked because of COVID. And when you think about it, that NBA draft is and the Olympics are Olympics is every 4 years or whatever. The NBA draft, once that's over, we're basically back on the normal sports calendar now. Fingers crossed nothing ever gets delayed again. But we're back now because that was the draft and the NBA season was the last thing that got pushed back. Because normally the draft doesn't happen right before free agency. So it's just been a whirlwind of what's been going on. So we have a lot to cover here. Several questions, but the easiest way I just like to get from you guys, the easiest information I like to get from you guys to start is draft grades. The classic cliche draft grade. Then you can explain on it. But what would you give the Detroit Pistons draft grade?
A-.
You copy me?
I didn't know what you gave the Pistons.
A-.
I'll give my reason after I give the grades.
I'll give them an A.
Okay. So we're all in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
We all like Cade. We don't need to discuss
Cade's
that.
a majority of my grade.
Right. It's pretty hard to mess up.
95% of my grade.
Yeah, at least 90.
Pretty hard to mess up the draft, really, when you have that easy of a pick in front of you. In my perspective, the only reason I really didn't give it an A or an A+ is one of the guys I had highlighted in our preview show is Greg Brown, and he was available when we picked at 42. So I wouldn't have hated to take him. May have given me an A just because I had highlighted him before. I think he would have been good for our team. I'm not disappointed with anyone we took in the second round, really, because they're just second round picks. But I wouldn't have minded Greg Brown at 42. That's about all I could have asked different.
Yeah. I'm an NBA scout right now.
We all are.
So
certified.
I didn't see the need to take two big men.
Really?
Well, because we signed someone. Get to that.
Yeah, but at the time.
But that was already rumored, I guess, and I didn't see the need to take 2 7-footers. Luka Garza and Balsha Kopravica, if that's how you pronounce it. That's how you put it in there.
Yeah, it's Balsha Kopravica, like pizza.
Yeah, so I didn't need 2 big men, and then
Who would you have taken
the
then, just
Livers,
out of curiosity at that point in the draft?
oh, some like high upside guard, Aaron Henry. Not super high upside, but high defensive upside since he didn't get drafted. And Isaiah Livers,
That was
I
a
didn't
cold take
see.
by you on the previous show, but it's not a Michigan State show.
Yeah, I said that for sure. Henry would get drafted and Livers was a question mark. So that's my next point. I saw Livers pretty low in most of these mocks, and we took him at 42. So I was a little surprised by that. I don't hate it, though. I think he could be good. I don't know. Second round picks aren't going to get you all jazzed up.
Yeah, like once you get out of the first round, it's like you're just guessing. You hope a guy can like make your team in like your starting 10 in like the 8th spot.
And then we drafted the best player in the East, Cade Cunningham. So
The East, what?
the Eastern Conference.
Okay. We're going to do that.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Well, he's not the best player in the Eastern Conference. I love to get all giddy like that, but like
Yeah, but he could be.
this season, what are you saying right now? Are you just doing like a bit where like you're just going to, you think Cade Cunningham's going to be the best player in the Eastern Conference this year? Is that what you're actually saying?
No.
Okay, good. I honestly
just
didn't
like
know.
to get
I feel
you
like I
worked
know
up.
you pretty well that that's a joke, but like the way you said it.
Just working you out, man.
Evan, likes or dislikes?
Like obviously Kate Cunningham. I don't mind Livers. I question his health going into the season because last time we saw him, he was injured for March Madness. Obviously,
Yeah,
he has to be pretty healthy for them to draft him.
He will not be playing. That's a good point. He will not be playing in the summer league due to said
Okay,
injury.
so he's not healthy, so there's a question mark.
Mhm.
But he's a wing player, 6'8", can guard multiple positions, can shoot the ball pretty well when healthy. I think he needs to shred a couple pounds for an NBA weight and for the positions that he's going to be playing. And then, Garza is a person that I hated playing in the Big Ten, but he's a skilled post player. He's the ideal post player that a lot of NBA teams, I think, are looking for. And I think he has an opportunity to contribute and play right away. I saw his NBA workout film, and I think he's lost some weight compared to his Iowa weight that he was playing with. I don't mind that. And then the Florida State kid, I'm not going to even try to butcher his name. I think it's just like a risky pick. Like you have that extra third pick in the second round as kind of somebody that you maybe be able to develop offensive skill wise, because obviously he has a size. I just don't know if he's talented enough offensively to play in the NBA. So I think it's something where he plays in G League for a while, see if he can develop some game. So overall, you drafted a post player. You need a post player after draft night. You drafted a wing player that can guard multiple positions. You're never too athletic, and then you drafted the best player in the draft. So I give it an A.
Yeah, I think that
You made great points.
best player in the draft, it automatically like kind of sets the bar in an A, and then
Can't be worse than an A- with Cade Cunningham.
yeah. So I think the clear takeaway from this draft was we wanted to improve or take chances at improving our shooting, our 3-point shooting. Last year, Pistons shot like 35% as a team, which is 22nd worst in the NBA. And we were around that same range for the amount of threes we attempted. So not a 3-point shooting team really at all. Not very good at it. The only guy we really had that was like consistent, we had 2 guys, I would say, was Wayne Ellington and Sadiq Bey were like the main guys. You had splashes of Frank Jackson. So I think that's why they kind of went with the Livers there. And Garza, because he's a 3-point shooting big man. Now, here's the thing with Garza is like, I don't have any expectations for him to do anything. I'm intrigued by it just because we know him so well from the Big Ten. But he won the Wooden Award, which is just kind of popped in my brain. All right, let's look at the last. What do you guys want to do from 2010? 2010 sound good? I like doing like round numbers like that, like 10.
Sure.
So Wooden Award winners, obviously see how their careers panned out. Starts with Jimmer Fredette. Then you got Anthony Davis, Trey Burke, Doug McDermott. Why are you shaking your head, Trey Burke? If Luka Garza turned out to be Trey Burke in the NBA, that'd be a great pick.
An okay career, bounced around a lot.
Yeah, but an NBA player, NBA like has star at times, so that'd be good. I will not let you slander him.
Star or
Started at times.
Yeah, no.
And from where he was drafted. I'm saying for where Luka's drafted. If Luka Garza was a starter in the NBA ever for a season, it'd be a great draft pick. Okay. So we had Jimmer, Anthony Davis, Trey Burke, Doug McDermott, Frank Kaminsky, Buddy Hield, Frank Mason III, Jalen Brunson, Zion, Obi Toppin, and Luka Garza. So I think overwhelmingly they haven't had fantastic NBA careers, but I think it's still worth the shot, in case you get a role player in that situation.
I think a lot of those guys had decent or have decent careers.
Fredette, no.
McDermott just signed a pretty big contract. I'd say he's had a decent NBA career.
Dougie McBuckets is still playing in the NBA.
He definitely has a decent NBA career.
Kaminsky
still playing,
played
on the finals team.
10 minutes in the finals.
Decent NBA career if you're still in the league.
Frank Mason III.
That's the bad one. I don't know what he did.
I guess the rest are really kind of too early, but
Buddy Hield's pretty decent.
It's all right.
He's got a fat contract.
I'm just saying, I kind of goes back and forth. Like I think it's worth the shot. At 52 where we picked him, it's like just take the Wooden Award winner, see what happens.
I think it's actually a really good pick. I think he's going to be better than what people think.
Well, okay, so I guess going into year one, I'm just fascinated. Like, what do you think his role is? Like year one, is he a G League mainly guy, or does he get run?
He's G League. I think he's competing for like a role on like a backup center position.
I think he's a two-way guy.
Yes, he's a two-way guy, but like
I think he'll be on the Pistons
after draft night, before free agency even started. I said, you look at the roster, and I said there is a chance he makes the roster and contributes minutes because there's always a place for somebody that can score anywhere on the court. He has a jump shot, he can shoot from three, and he has post moves.
Yeah,
I think he can contribute.
I don't like Luka Garza at Iowa, but now that he's a Pistons, I love the draft pick. I don't mind it at all.
I am hopeful for him that it translates, but I'll say this, I would not be stunned considering where they are both drafted if Koprivica beats him out for like a two-way spot. Because I don't think both make our roster at the end of the day. I would not be stunned if like they get into workouts and it's like, we're going to take the shot on the taller guy who can develop a jump shot and, has better rim protection potentially. Like I wouldn't be stunned.
I would be surprised.
I mean,
I watched his tape,
but they're only 5 picks apart, really. Like it's like they're in the same range of player.
Luka Garza is a lot more, obviously more polished because we're talking about the other guy being a project. But I don't see I don't know why you take both if you're not planning to put one in the G League and maybe have one on a two-way. I think you'll probably keep both.
Maybe I would. I don't know if both
got room. Definitely in the G League. And I don't think teams are lining up to sign Mr. Balsha. So you could just shove him on a G League contract.
Yeah, potentially. I guess we'll see with those guys.
Who will? Some are legal.
Yeah, Balsha's not playing because his deal's not final.
Well, I think he will return. I think the deal's expected to be done. He just might not play like the first game.
All right, well, hopefully he gets in there. I'd like to see as many people as we can play. Now, I'm going to tell you where I'm a little upset. And it kind of actually illuminates a bigger point that we've talked about on this podcast for a couple shows. And when it comes to like our new GMs, who it's a good problem to have where like they seem much more competent than past GMs we've had. But you get this feeling, this sense sometimes when talking to people or on social media where like if you question them, people will jump down your throats. Like we talked about it most namely with Steve Yzerman last show about just blindly trusting the Yzer plan. I got some of those same vibes with Troy Weaver. And I'm referring to the pre-draft trade that happened. And when this came through, I'm just sitting there scratching my head like Mason Plumlee to Charlotte to move 20 spots back in the draft. Okay. And then obviously if you like I think I tweet out from our account like what like a gif of like what WTF like huh. And honestly, like the smart out comments like, oh, it's a salary dump. It's like, well, no crap. I understand what we're doing. Like, we don't want his $8 million on our books. And then people are spinning it like, oh, yeah, like it's not a bad move. Like we had to do this. We're like, no, I agree with that. I agree that I don't mind us getting rid of him. But can we all like look at the Mason Plumlee and say overall it was like if you're doing like a plus or minus in the box score of basketball and hockey, like that was a net negative move for the team. Like,
got rid of triple-double god.
We were, not even like his production. Like, I don't even need Mason Plumlee on the team. And we can get to, like, him versus Olynyk later. But I'm just saying purely, like, we were trying to get the first pick in the draft. We were basically tanking. We didn't have to sign Mason Plumlee to $8 million. And then your net result of him is just dumping him off and then moving from 37 to 57. And the reason that kind of hurts is I look at 37. At that pick, you could have had Ayo Dosunmu, Jared Butler from Baylor, who I really like, or Joe Wieskamp. You could have had any of those three players if you had just kept that pick. And it's like, I get it, Pistons fans. Don't question Troy. Like, we had a dump salary, but like, we didn't have to take Mason Plumlee, for $8 million when we were trying to suck anyways, and we don't get anything from him. I would say the only thing that I enjoy from it is I think that Troy Weaver realizes when he like makes a mistake and it's a net loss, he got rid of it quickly. Like, he didn't keep Mason Plumlee. He's like, you know what? He's not really going to help us next year. I'm just going to get rid of him now. So I respect that. I appreciate that. But I think objectively, I'm one of the maybe a few people saying, like, can we all just look at Mason Plumlee objectively and say it was like a bad deal overall? Like, we didn't gain anything from bringing him on our team.
I think there's a couple things. One, I think that what I read today is that the staff and Troy Weaver evaluated Olynyk and Plumlee and decided a couple of weeks ago that Olynyk was a better fit for the team, and that was part of the trade. Number two, I think it means that Troy Weaver likes what he has in Isaiah Stewart. I think that's pretty obvious. So I think it's a good sign that he got rid of Plumlee to help Stewart develop more. He'll get more time.
I agree with that.
But then third, yeah, I agree. The trade itself was not good. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, that trade was awesome. I'm super happy about it. I saw it. I did the same WTF. I'm even at the golf tournament. I was like, wait, what? Is this like a typo? Why did we move back 20 and give him up? That just made no sense. When we were talking about pre-draft trades with like Plumlee being an asset to teams, and that was just complete salary dump. Didn't really get anything back.
Like, which I understand because you're dumping his salary, but if we wanted, like, we could have just had Jahlil Okafor run out there last year to get the worst pick in the draft. Like, we just didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, we signed all those centers. Like, if you want to be bad, just let Jahlil Okafor play and never sign Mason Plumlee.
There's something also, you never know, ownership might want the team to look more competitive and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was just in hindsight now, you can just chalk it up, bad signing, and the trade was worse. And that's it. Just wasn't good.
Draft night, I thought that I understood the trade. I thought it was all right. I didn't mind it at all. I knew what they're doing. Like Alex said, okay, it's a salary dump to get for Charlotte to take on this contract. We have to like give them something in return, so flip-flop picks.
Right.
And then 6 o'clock happened last night, and my mindset of the trade went completely different. I know that, okay, the front office likes Kelly Olynyk better, but I think Kelly Olynyk is less skilled offensively, less athletic, and he's a problem on the court where other teams don't enjoy playing against him. And where now you have somebody that you're paying $4.5 million more than somebody that was decent last year. I just don't see the fit. I don't see how Kelly Olynyk fits. He's unathletic. He's not really skilled offensively. I don't see how he fits on this team better than Mason Plumlee. So I hate the trade even more now than I did Thursday night. I think it's a dumb move. I don't see where they're going with it. And then turn around and you're paying 3 years for Kelly Olynyk is kind of a head stretcher where this team could be turning the corner within like a year or two, and you kind of want your books to look clean. And now you have a gaping hole of $12.5 million with some ball on your roster.
Hey, team option after two. Team option after two.
So Evan's super, super down the Olynyk. I'm not
as against.
I want to play both sides a little bit because like I basically made like a pros and cons. So he's kind of a noted scumbag, but also pro, like
he is a scumbag.
Noted
little edge. Little edge.
A-hole.
We got a little edge now, right? Everyone loves the bad boy era. Like we can, let's embrace him.
Bad
I guess.
hair.
Pros and cons. Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to crap on the guy's appearance, but
good shooter.
Evan, offensively, I guess the vision that I see and other people are going to try to sell you on if they're trying to sell you Kelly Olynyk is like it gives us floor spacing, whereas Mason Plumlee does not shoot threes. He doesn't take threes. He just stands in the middle like a tree. Their thinking is you get Killian Hayes and Cade driving lanes, and you can space Sadiq Bey and Olynyk around them, and you can kind of go from there. Same thing with Jeremy Grant. Like he's going to want to drive as well. He's 30 years old, so he's older, right? he's also 6'11", so in his wingspan's not big, so he's kind of undersized for center, I would say, especially with some bigger centers. But he can also play power forward, so that I guess power forward center flexibility is a pro. Alex said he's got a team option on his third year, which is good.
That
so
is
really, it's a 2-year, $24 million deal when you really look at it.
Still a lot.
It's more than Plumlee. But honestly, guys, and I'm not saying it's going to continue, the stretch he had with the Rockets is unbelievable.
He had a career year last year.
He played for
it's contract year. If you look at any athlete in their contract year, they're always going to outperform because they know there's a check coming the following year. It's contract year.
Fair. I buy into that. I remember that for fantasy football every year too.
Especially then after they get paid, they almost are always much worse.
And but we know on his career he's a 37% 3-point shooter. That's very good, especially
Solid.
for like a center type position. Like you said, I'm not going to disagree. Plumlee is more athletic and like guarding the rim and stuff. But like, I think Olynyk's got just as good of a handle, like dribbling wise, and obviously a better jump shot. And his rebounding numbers weren't bad. Obviously, with the Rockets, you have to take it with a grain of salt because like they were tanking as well. So he got a bunch of chances to shoot the ball as much as he wants. But I mean, he's averaged like double-digit points throughout seasons in his career, and like I said, 37% 3-point shooter. I don't hate it, but it's never like it's not flashy. And he's probably one of the few guys where like, yeah, I'll go to Detroit. So I'm gonna give him credit for that. Like I could see a guy like he kind of has that mold where like gritty, like I'll just go to Detroit.
I don't love having a defender a center that is not a plus defender. He's not gonna protect the rim. He's not gonna rebound that well for a center. And then also he's not a back to the basket scorer at all. I mean, so you're just not going to have that. And usually when you have a center, you still, even in today's modern NBA, it's nice to have a guy on the block that can get you a basket. And Olynyk's not really going to do that.
Who needs post basketball? I don't need it.
So the Pistons are going to run a 5 out with him.
I love it.
We'll see.
I'm becoming more in on it as we talk.
He's not
for a year or so.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Here's going to be crazy. You think Evan's mad now? I was going to get in the feel from Pistons Twitter. They're like, oh, like this is so much money for a bench player. I go, I'm not so sure he's going to be a bench player.
No, he started.
I would not be stunned if he starts night 1 over Isaiah Stewart. Like, I think they could flip-flop. And I also think reading into this who starts there doesn't matter that much. It just matters on how many minutes you're getting per night and who closes the game. But, like, people are still too attached to the starter backup tag, especially at that position right now. It's like, doesn't really matter. But I'm just telling you right now, get ready for the day when Kelly Olynyk's our night 1 starter and people are mad online.
I will be mad if Olynyk takes away from like developmental minutes from Stewart. That'll be the only thing that could really like make me mad. Because I don't expect us to be, competing that much next year. So it's really the year after that is the big year.
Whoa, what was that? You just got so compete that much.
Yeah. Okay. Did you see all the teams around us?
Playing tourney or bust, dude.
It's falling below that.
Okay, I'll carry that wagon. Playing tourney or bust.
I still want to get there.
No,
sure.
I expect it.
We're not deep.
Lighter side, before we go back into more thing, I did want to touch briefly on the draft day overall. What did you guys think about the pick being leaked so early? How did you feel about that?
I was like 50-50 on it. It eased my mind and my heart. Like, okay, we didn't mess it up at like 2 in the afternoon. I'm like, all right, that's good. But like the whole like part of the draft is like building the anticipation to see. The first time you see it is when the commissioner announces it. So it's like losing its like luster. Like so, like the draft. Now you're not getting people to watch it because they already know what's going to happen beforehand. And it's an entertainment you want people to watch. And so you're missing out on that opportunity. And I get Woj has a job to do and he's trying to, get clicks or whatever you want to call it. But I think that he shouldn't have leaked it because he works for ESPN and they're broadcasting. So it's kind of.
I was begging for it for like 2 days before the draft. And then once it happened, I was almost disappointed.
Yeah.
It's just a really weird, bittersweet thing. We're like, yes, we got our guy and I can breathe easy. But now there's no like extra excitement. And like I would have been even more excited if I didn't know until the actual pick was happening. And then we got him. Then I would have been all jazzed up.
Yeah.
But it killed like no big excitement.
Like knowing that since the outcome was Cade, like Evan said, I kind of see it both ways. We're like, it's best for our anxiety overall because I would have been a ball of nerves like live.
That's good.
But the moment, well, it was good because we picked Cade. But like,
True. If
the
it was someone
moment
else.
would have been so good that we don't know when we get Cade. That would have been like a great goosebumps moment. Like, yes, we got him. We didn't know. But also, like, if it went the wrong way, it would have been devastating. So I guess it was good. Do want to say we kind of know this with, like, I'd say NBA is one of the more fashion-dominated leagues. The fashion in today's NBA is just banana lands. I kind of knew the trend of, like, we don't wear socks and we wear, like capri
Super
pants.
weird.
But, like, nobody wears socks anymore.
Just like nothing
in
that
the
I could
NBA.
ever pull off.
Like, these pants were stopping, like, mid-shin almost. Even, like, everyone. There was only one guy, Moses Moody. Shout out to him, wore normal dress pants and, like, socks and didn't see his ankles.
Just trying to imagine any of us or any of our friends trying to wear something like that, and we would just get crucified.
I don't get it.
We just
I
like
think we should try it. I think we should try it one night. We are going to Miami. Let's see if
We have to get special pants.
so
Like,
for
you have to purposely buy pants that are deemed like floods. And
fantasy football draft. We all dress up as if we're getting.
We all
drafted.
show up, and if we pull it off, we take it to Miami. That exact fit.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think it
Post a
will.
picture and let the fans decide, like,
Yeah.
yes or no.
Let me go buy some 26s.
Fashion-wise, too, Cade and I had to do some research on, Buffs, all this Cartier glasses. Cade and the Buffs was sweet. His sunglasses, I'm glad he leaned into that. Like, it shows me he's aware, and Cade looked good. I mean, he was doing the whole ankle thing, too, but his looked a little bit better than everyone else's. He wasn't as extreme as, like, some of the other guys.
He looked sharp.
Yeah.
That's our guy.
And the hat, I was worried with his hair, but the hat ended up looking pretty good on him as well. So, all good things from him fashion-wise. But I had to get that out there. I was like, what am I watching? No one wears socks.
I thought that the last like 3 years.
Crazy.
And those like weird spiky shoes. What are those called?
It's all like slippers, but they're like Louis Vuitton.
But they got like
spikes.
those little spikes on.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow, what is fashion these days?
Corey Kispert, OBX reference. Corey Kispert looked like a kook from Outer Banks. He just looked like the most preppy.
He just looked like
I wasn't looking at Corey Kispert, I can tell you that.
Oh,
bonk.
I mean,
No, I did.
Z won the draft night because he gets to go home with her. It's like everybody else is losing.
the
That's
old,
why
like,
Alex Caruso won free agency too.
the old Zach Wilson thing, I guess, in the NBA draft. Okay, now back to our team. Quickly, I don't have too many thoughts on it, but we got rid of Corey Joseph to re-sign Corey Joseph to a
Cheaper deal.
We cut Davidas Servidis, which is huge for Evan. Never has to pronounce that name ever again.
Never should have been drafted.
And then I believe that was a pre-Weaver era, correct? That was like 2019.
Yeah, that was last year.
He was like a
the year before.
Wait, I think we brought him in a trade, didn't we?
No, he was the second round pick, last one.
no. It might have been a trade.
No,
we might have brought him in.
I know.
I think we did someone's agent a favor. I think his agent.
We drafted that guy.
No, we didn't. He got drafted to the Mavericks. I looked this up the other day.
Yeah, but it was a trade to us on draft night.
And then we never have to worry about him again. And we got rid of Tyler Cook, which I kind of like Tyler Cook, but I guess whatever. Like,
I was a little surprised.
I felt bad because he was so excited to play with Luka Garza. Like, he was tweeting like Hawkeyes for life, and then we just cut him. The NBA is a cutthroat league. And
Maybe we'll bring him back.
We gave out offer sheets to Hamidou Diallo, Frank Jackson, Saban Lee. We're still waiting for the news of those, whether or not another team makes an offer for them. The only one I could see someone else offering for would be Diallo, but we'll see what happens.
I saw some Frank Jackson chatter today.
Wow.
To the Suns.
Wow.
And
You
Bucks.
can have him.
But overall, I have a big concern with our team. Any of you want to take a stab at what it is before I say it?
We're not athletic enough.
Evan nailed it. There you go. Took the win out of the
So
sales.
say we signed 3 Canadians.
We just have we have Chop Canada. We have no athleticism on our team.
None.
Like none.
Cade.
Zero. Cade's not really athletic.
He's more athletic than the rest of the guys
No.
on our team.
No.
Our team is all about wingspan for Troy Weaver, so
I mean,
heavy.
I think
Amy's
the
pretty
most
athletic.
the most athletic guy on our team is Diallo, and I would say second's probably Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, those guys are athletic.
So-
Hammy won a dunk contest.
Yeah, but he's like a bench guy. Like in our starting five, we have no athletes. Like in the NBA realm, obviously they're more athletic than the
Killian's
average.
reasonably athletic.
No, he's not. He's not that fast. I'm telling you right now.
I read that Cade is much more athletic than we realized, and that his roster was so bad at Oklahoma State that you couldn't show it.
I mean, maybe.
Watch his high school tape.
He
was pretty athletic.
Yeah, but I've also watched him in college try to blow by average Big 12 defenders and get stopped in his tracks. Like, he's not like a burst off the dribble guy. He's like a step back, create your shot, floater kind of guy.
You might find out something new this year.
More spacing in the NBA, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of space in the NBA.
Like, the rules was going to allow more ability.
You're going to see some Cade.
I'm just telling you right now, if you look at our roster, our big weakness is we are not athletic whatsoever.
And we're not great at shooting either.
We're getting better, though.
Luka Garza, baby.
Cade Cunningham, I think, will help a lot with the shooting.
Yes, Cade will help.
Probably more than Luka Garza.
Alex, I need you to get Frank Garza, speaking of Luka, on our podcast.
I almost messaged him today.
You have to. Dude, his tweets are so funny. And I know, like,
he's kind of big time.
I don't want to make fun of him. I'm not making fun of him. Like, it's so sincere. I like that. But just like, I try to, like, kind of sugarcoat things. I was like, no. Like, I like the idea of having a really supportive dad like that, but like, it's almost laughable the way he words them. Like, he's so proper. And he puts like a peacock at the end of all of his tweets. I don't get it. But he's just trying to like brainwash the whole Pistons fan base that like we got the best player in the draft. The way he's like Pistons Nation, you're gonna love what you're getting. It's just this like sun in an empty gym with him rebounding, just draining threes. And I'm like, okay,
that tape was one of the most least impressive things I've ever seen.
Relax.
He was just kind of sitting there like half-assing shooting it. Wasn't cool.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, but I need this guy. I need to talk to him. It seems like he's all up on Twitter. Like, he's deep in the Twitter game. He's posting one every single day. He's posting right now, 2 hours ago, Luka from the half circle, and then him shooting from half court. It's like, what are we doing?
It's yeah, but we're gonna have him on the podcast, and we're gonna ask him about it.
It's the dad learning what Twitter is and getting reactions, and so now he doesn't know how to control himself, and this is all he does.
He has over 15,000 followers.
And to be fair,
his son played at Iowa and was like the best college basketball player. So like,
and to be fair, he also spreads the love. Like, I saw him retweet a bunch of Joe, bless you, Wieskamp stuff. So it's not like he's all about his kid. Like, he spreads the wealth. But interesting. Another point I had that I'm curious to see if you guys feel the same way. So it is about the Pistons. Just bear with me here. I'm going to build into it. Mm-hmm. I would call it an existential depression. I kind of went through a little bit last night. You know, I was laying down. I watched, like, nerded out here. I watched like all the drafts. I like to love drafts, but the draft overall sucked compared to the NFL draft because, like, we talked about how they leak every pick. Like, I should have just refreshed Twitter the whole time.
Shams, Woj, everyone was just
and also the analysts were so bad, except for shout out Mike Schmitz. Mike Schmitz was good, and I like Jay Billis, but like, I don't need Reese Davis and Kendrick Perkins just standing there.
I do not need Kendrick Perkins telling me who to draft because he doesn't do research. He's just up there like.
I do love Jay Billis though. Love that guy.
Yeah. I mean, I like Jay on college, but also Jay, I don't think has a great feel for how everyone's going to translate to the NBA. Like, I don't know. Anyways, the whole coverage was like, and they say every pick's great. Like, no one questioned any pick. Anyways, besides that, so I suffered through all of that. It took forever. And then I'm like locked into my phone last night on free agency. And then like I see we signed Kelly Olynyk, we signed Trey Lyles, we signed Corey Joseph back.
Canadians.
I'm like laying down late at night. I'm like, Grant, like, what is the point of all this that you're doing? Not the podcast. Like, I like this, but I'm like, how locked I am. I'm like, Detroit sports in general, like, we're so playoff starved. I'm like, I'm refreshing my phone, putting on push notifications. Like, for what? We're debating, we're analyzing this whole team to miss the playoffs again. And
you gotta look forward to something.
We're gonna be back here a year from now having this same discussion. Like, oh, what piece did we add in free agency to maybe make the play-on tournament again? Like, for the Tigers, oh, who are we gonna sign in the summer to like miss the playoffs again? It's like,
Grant,
I'm telling you, I went through one last night. I was like, what is this all even for?
The Pistons are signing a max player next summer, and the Tigers just said today, I don't know if we're talking about them or not, that they're going to sign a bunch of big-name guys. So next summer is going to be exciting.
But do you guys...
And we are going to make
Do you guys ever go through that, though, where you're like, what's the point of all this, like, sports craziness? It's like...
For 5 minutes. And then I tell myself that I'm doing this because eventually we will be on top again. The Lions for the first time.
Is that it? Is that what I need to just snap myself back?
You just got to know that, like, every team goes through highs and lows. But you're going to have bad years. You're going to have good years. And everyone finds its cycle, and everyone ends up winning.
I think it's just especially bad right now is, like, the whole state. You can even throw in, like, Michigan into the mix as well.
Well, I'm glad they stink.
Is like, and you can throw in Michigan State's football team as well. And basketball last year. It's like, we're just in such a bad state in the whole sports landscape
Yeah, you watch it, dude. Michigan State basketball had one bad year.
You're taking it way too personally. I'm just talking about you know what you get what I'm saying. No, let's not.
Yeah.
I'm saying you're being too negative.
When's the last year we made the playoffs in any Detroit sports? Was it the Red Wings? Was it the
Pistons, Bucks?
Pistons, Bucks.
We were the 8th seed.
We got swept. It's like, dude, it's been over 5 years, I think. Like, we're so bad.
Not a minute.
The whole landscape is so bad. And it's like, we're grinding out, sweating out Kelly Olynyk deals at 6:30 p.m.
I am not sweating out Kelly Olynyk deals because I don't want him on the team.
I also was not sweating that.
Right, but we're paying attention to it. We're giving it our brain power. We're thinking about
it. Give the people what they want.
Yes, I was diving in, and I'm still diving in. I didn't even know like half of the free agency moves, and I'm still trying to figure out where everyone's going.
Did I have Twitter notifications on for every single free agent?
I mean, it's something that we do, and I guess something we love. Because without Sports Grant, I would be a sack of potatoes. I would be unenjoyable to hang out with. Nobody would like me.
The couple months of COVID with no sports, I was just absolutely miserable.
I think that's a better point than like we'll be good again one day. Like I don't really believe that sometimes.
You're negative.
I do believe that. Like I just don't know what I would do. Like would I just get into like knitting or like kung fu? Like what hobby is going to replace
knitting?
Well, what's going to replace sports?
All right, Grandma.
Am I just going to read books at night? Like what am I going to do?
You're going to watch TV shows and watch movies, and there's so many people in the world that don't have any interest in sports, and they're fine.
Not that many.
No, there's a lot.
Are they fine? Are they fine though?
Psychopaths, I would say.
No, I wouldn't say that. Not most. There's a lot of females that don't care about sports at all, and they're totally fine.
Are they though?
They don't even notice. They don't even blink.
Well,
they
also
care about the Kardashians. Which is better, sports or Kardashians?
I guess I'm not saying sports is bad. No, I'm just saying
girls are different about. Though.
Girls get through it, no problem.
I'm saying more like guys. Girls are wired differently. Their genes are different. Their hormones are different when it comes to sports. They just don't feel it the same way we do. I'm saying
you feel it inner.
I'm saying majority of guys out there have at least a decent interest in sports. And if I wasn't one of them,
I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't be friends with you guys if I didn't pay attention to them. I feel like.
We all met in kindergarten. I think we'd be friends.
I don't know, man. If I was like,
I don't know. If you didn't have any interest in sports, I don't think we would like be that close of friends.
No, I agree, 100%.
Well, we're also a little different than most dudes. We're like full on Sports Center at age 5. Like,
and what for our teams to not make the playoffs for the last 5 years?
Well, we're like the obsessed type with sports. There's plenty of people that don't care as much.
I'm going through it.
It'll be fine.
Well, they need to start caring more, and that'll get our Detroit sports teams out of the graveyard. If everyone just cared more.
Evan, they're on their way.
Dude, there's something to being said, similar to how I was thinking when Barstool started, like Boston went on a dominant stretch, and they already were good, but like some were saying that the Shaw Michigan sports beginning, things have been looking up for Detroit sports.
Well, the thing is,
we hadn't gotten a first pick in 50 years. We start a podcast, get the first pick.
If Tom Brady's in your city, you're going to be good.
Okay.
You know that? When he was at Michigan, the Red Wings won 2 finals. And all the teams made the playoffs, you know. Goes to Tampa, the Lightning win and the Buccaneers win.
But the Lightning won because of our guy now.
in the World Series.
True.
I don't know, guys. I need something good to happen, or else I'm going to keep going through these bouts of existential sports depression.
They just got the best player in the Eastern Conference, the number 1 overall pick, Cade Cunningham. Things are happening.
I need it sooner.
Michigan football, like you said, they're winning 10 games. You say it every year.
Okay, leave Michigan out for now. I'm only focused on Detroit, but they will win 10 games. Bowl game counts.
Yeah. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, they're not going to go 10-2, guys. Relax.
Does that conclude our Pistons talk?
Yeah. That was depressing, I would say. Some would say. But it's real. It's raw. And with all that being said, let's switch to the Detroit Lions training camp, main topic 2 that opened up here. And, you know, depression on sports, whatever. I wrote in all caps for this. I am all in on Jeff Okudah after the start of Lions training camp. There's a bunch of storylines, but I just had to get that in there. I know how hypocritical. It's like, oh, Grant, you're acting like Detroit sports are doomed. Well, I can trick my small monkey brain into doing like, yep, Jeff Okudah, here we go. Multiple reports, multiple people pouring out that he looks like a new man, a new player. He's buying into this whole like stoic philosophy thing for a new mindset, tapping into like this belief that, you know, like I'm bigger than my problems. You know, like I was put in a terrible situation my rookie year, didn't have a training camp because of COVID, had a terrible coach with a terrible scheme. Now I'm a different guy. I'm going to control what I can control, and I'm going to be sweet. I'm all in on Jeff Okuda.
Me too.
That was my main. Whoa. Hold
Just
up.
because I ranked him that low doesn't mean I don't think he can be good.
No, I'm pretty sure ranking him like 18th behind Jelani Tavai. Basically, you're
I had
predicting
him
that
ahead of Tavai.
you're predicting that he's not going to be good. I don't think you
I
did.
think I had him ahead of Tavai.
I don't think you did.
Let me see.
I don't think you did.
You'd feel bad.
One ahead.
Jeff Okuda ahead of Jelani
Okay, we're
Tavai.
splitting hairs though. The fact that they're in the same sentence.
Well,
You're not allowed to say you think Okuda's going to be good this year unless you change your whole list.
I can't. We're not allowed to change our list.
So yeah, exactly.
It was
Correct.
before training camp.
So
what am I
you-
supposed to do?
Just have a better feel for
Just
football.
have a better idea of what happens at training camp when I can't see it.
Just have a better feel for the game of football and how he's going to make a leap.
Well, I had Will Harris in there, and apparently he's doing well too. So maybe you guys should have had him on your list.
I did.
Will Harris
Mm-hmm.
was on your list?
I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
Tracy Walker feels like he for sure was.
Yeah, he's on all of our lists. But he hasn't even.
Will Harris missed my 25-man cut.
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
between him or
yeah.
Khalif Raymond.
Yeah, maybe you should know more about football.
I do know more about football than you.
Do you?
You know why? And it's going to come through just on the Jeff Okuda take. If he stays healthy, you're going to look like a clown.
I'm telling you, he can be good. I also told you from what I saw.
Yeah, but I don't care about your words.
That's why he's ranked where he is, because he stunk last year.
I give you actions.
He stunk last year.
Yeah, but I said we were making those charts based on projections as well.
Well,
What part about that
I'm
don't you
allowed to
understand?
make my list the way I want to make mine, and I based it more emphasis on what I actually have seen.
Well, there always does have to be a worst list, so it makes sense.
Yeah, they'll be yours. Is that what you want? You want more arguments on the show? Is this what you're trying to do?
No, I was genuinely stunned that you said you're all in on Jeff Okuda. It knocked me back in my seat.
I root for the Lions. I'm a Lions fan, and I want him to play well. Is that a crime?
Whoa.
I got that F-bomb.
Whoa.
You
Is
just
that a-
bleep that. Can you use a bleep feature?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I just got heated and I accidentally dropped the bad word.
What a dweeb. All right. What rip off some storylines you guys are enjoying from camp.
Dan Campbell press conferences.
Just when he talks.
I just think he's a funny guy.
Okay. No disagreements.
The hatred of past players and current players, just hatred towards Matt Patricia.
Oh, I
Like
do
Darius
love
Slay was
that.
asked,
That's
what are your
funny.
thoughts of going back and playing the Lions? And he says, I don't have any hard feelings because Patricia's not there anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was the second one to say something about that. I can't remember who was the first. But there was another player that asked like something about the Lions, and he's like, "Oh, they have a new system." and a
Jared
new scheme,
Davis.
So
Jared Davis was like talking
Yes.
about how talking about
That's
how
what it
bad
was.
Detroit was for him.
Did you see?
He wanted to quit football.
Yeah.
yeah,
He almost quit.
And on that note, also Darius Slay was asked if he's excited to like come back to Detroit and prove
Wait.
them wrong.
Evan just talked about that.
Did
What?
you?
Are you joking?
just on mute.
Oh my god!
Were you on mute? Did you
I
hear
didn't
anything
hear you
I
say
said?
Darius Slay.
It was the first guy.
I thought you said I can't remember the player. I was just gonna tell you.
Oh
who it
my
was.
god!
The second player.
Get it together, Alex. Okay, continue. Evan, did you? Wow, that was
That's-
stunning. I thought.
I thought we were just gonna be bouncing around here.
Okay, I got one. I got one.
I got one.
I'm legitimately concerned about our head coach and his coffee habits. He
Bad.
came out today. He said he starts his day, and I think he meant every day. Like he made it seem like this was a regular occurrence. 2 venti-size Pike Place black coffees from Starbucks, and adds 2 shots of espresso to both of them. I did some math, guys, because
That's
it's
not
like
good.
that is 970 milligrams of caffeine per day.
I would.
Assuming
Yeah.
he doesn't have anything else, the high-end safe amount for the normal human being to have is 400. So he's at 970. And 400 is 4 cups of coffee already. 400 is 4 cups of coffee. He's having 970. Almost 9 cups of coffee a day. Almost 10.
It's bad.
And I think that explains, I looked up like side effects of 1,000 milligrams. Like you're just constantly like twitchy and jittery. I think that explains his press conferences. He's like always fidgeting for something. Like he's always taking drinks of water. Like he doesn't sit still ever. There could be worse things your coach could do. I'm a little bit worried about it though. Like I don't know how he sleeps at night. It's so much caffeine. Like what are we doing?
It's not healthy. It's actually a little concerning.
It's crazy.
It's really not good. My note, Troy Weaver being there and talking to Brad Holmes, everyone's making this a ginormous deal. Yes, they're going to have conversations. They're the GMs of the 2 pro teams and 2 of the 4 pro teams. I don't think it's that big of a deal that Troy Weaver was there, but I just see everywhere like how important that is. To me, not a big deal. And Aleem McNeil starting over Anzarecki.
Oh.
I think I put McNeil above him on my list.
Anzarecki's been missing from stuff. I think he might be dealing with something. I believe.
Kind of something. Like an injury?
Potentially. I'm not leaking anything, but I feel like I've seen multiple beat writer tweets like, I don't see Anzarecki out here.
I thought he was there.
I'm just saying.
He was at rookie camp.
Do your own research. I'm just
He was at rookie camp?
I'm floating irresponsible rumors.
It sounds like it. Now I'm going to look.
Evan, while he looks that up, bounce around topics.
I saw some 30-minute inside training camp special from Fox on TV the other day.
Wow.
And they're talking, and Dan Campbell was saying how Jared Goff he's definitely the leader of the offense, has control of it. He's had one of his best practices since he's been here recently. So I think Goff is taking steps and being like that captain, that vocal leader in a new team and new system. So it's good to see that your quarterback's doing that. He's not shying away from the opportunity.
Throwing wise, my Jared Goff thing is I heard that he can't connect on deep balls very well, which I don't think is a shock because that's not what he is here to do and hasn't been good at. But that's more of his
I wouldn't look into it that much. I mean, it's a new quarterback going to a new system with 7 or 8 new wide receivers that he's never thrown to,
and not great wide receivers.
It's going to take a long time to get your timing down. And especially with deep balls, you have to hit it perfectly.
True. But Justin Fields had a sweet one they're showing in camp.
And obviously, the insiders that are reporting it need something to say. If he misses 3 throws deep, then they're going to obviously say, "Oh, he can't hit a deep ball."
Dan Campbell, up downs, and the coaching staff in general. I love that. I always love when coaches get in the mix with the crappy conditioning parts of practice. And I was just picturing how much more do you think that does for the camaraderie than having poncho wearing guy driving around a golf cart with a walking boot on last year, just yelling at people? They have to just respect and take criticism and feedback from this coaching staff so much more that they're in the mix with the guys, doing the dirty work, doing the up downs. They may not have looked pretty, Dan Campbell looked gas doing them. He was doing half downs, but just so much better than a guy just on a golf cart yelling at you.
Anzarecki sat out practice Tuesday. That's it, though. No word on an injury.
Okay. I wonder why he's sitting out, though. Why is he sitting out? That's interesting.
Should know more tomorrow.
Can't wait.
And my other thing I stumbled into while I was reading is apparently Taylor Decker is the star of the day on Tuesday, August 3rd. He was the star of the day.
Cool. I don't know what to say. There was a fight, all caps fight.
That was the next
fight at camp. We had a fight, Evan, our guy.
Rookies.
Well, they're both our guys, but Amon-Ra St. Brown and Iffy Melifonwu swung hands today. Punches were being flown. Love it.
Give it to me. It's competition. It's 2 young guys trying to get their spots, trying to get starting jobs. And when you're facing the same guy probably over and over and over again, where you have Oruwariye and Okuda probably taking one-on-ones. Let's say it's one-on-one drills or 7-on-7 drills. They're probably going up against Tyrell Williams and Rashard Perriman. Why then you have the young rookies are going to face each other nonstop in every single drill, and then it boils over.
Yes.
And it leads right to my next point. Amon-Ra St. Brown catching 202 passes after practice. That had to take at least 40 minutes. But, geez, I love when I'm right when he's going to be the best wide receiver on our team. So, feels good.
Hasn't played a snap yet, guys. Just remember.
No, he's probably going. I just said he's going to be our best wide receiver.
Exactly.
He's going to lead the wide receivers in receiving.
You said I'm so happy that I'm right.
That he's going to be
the best player. Best receiver.
That he's going to be the best wide receiver on the team.
Just because you like to be play
either
it
way,
safe. You're play it safe, Sally.
He still hasn't played a snap.
But we can still we can still make projections.
Yeah, you can.
Because we're not Evan and I are afraid to be wrong. It seems like you're afraid to be wrong sometimes.
I'm not afraid to be wrong. You tell me I'm wrong every week.
Seems like you're afraid to be wrong. What's your bold prediction after camp?
Bold prediction.
I have a million. I've already said Swift's going to have 1,000 rushing yards. That was before we got Jamal Williams, but I still stand by it. I just love throwing out irresponsible takes. Predictions.
Oh, I got to think about that.
All right. Also, backfield, love it. They said they envision Swift and Williams being used like Kamara and Latavius Murray. I like that because that means we're going to try to, Oh, Evan doesn't. I like it because I like the idea of Swift being used in a Kamara-esque role where he's catching a lot of passes, being used in space, and Williams being that kind of bruiser back.
Does Evan want DeAndre Swift to be bell cow back?
No, I don't mind the 2 running back system. I think you always need to have like a solid backup. But the way that tweet was worded, or the way the tweet was tweeted, Williams was in front of Swift.
Oh, no.
Instead of 1-2 combination. So it seemed like Williams was Kamara and Swift was
There's
which
no
obviously
way
I think
that's the case.
It's going to be Swift first, but it gave me pause when I read it Williams first.
Right.
As the 1.
Can't be. I'd be mad.
Nah, yeah, I don't think so.
Seems like a really nice guy, but I really like Swift, so it's like I'm taking Swift. And our guy,
Nice guy. Williams is hilarious.
He's
in
really-
conferences.
Yeah, that's one of the observations too. He's like one of the funniest dudes of all time.
Yeah.
And our guy Austin Gale, who we had on, shout out him if you want to go listen to that episode. He basically told us Swift's like the best college running back ever. I mean, he didn't really say that, but he said
that class.
he liked him the best, and he said he was so good at evading tacklers they couldn't even accurately get a feel for his broken tackle metric, which is kind of blew my mind when I was listening. I was like, wow, I guess it makes sense. It just feels like overall my main takeaway is this team is having fun again, which even if we kind of stink, like I can, like this time last year, I wasn't really excited about the Lions. I was just kind of like, there's a dark cloud over our team. I'm like excited. Like even if we go 0-3 to start the year, like I want to like root for these guys. I'm seeing their personalities more. The Lions shout out their social media team. They're doing this like daily cam video where you walk out and there's a question there of, you know, like answer. They did like a MJ LeBron debate. They did what could you medal in the Olympics. So it's like we're seeing more of the team's personality, which I feel like we didn't under the old regime. I wonder why. And I just enjoy it overall. And then the video too that like didn't tear up for this one. I'm surprised I didn't, but you feel it right in your heart when they're in the room, the QBs and the coaches walk in the back and they're rooting on Melissa Gonzalez, who's married to David Blau.
That was cool.
In the Olympics, dude. That's like one of the all-time videos I think I've seen from the Lions team in like 5 years. Like
He was so amped, he blew out of his shoe.
just like the genuine joy of like the quarterbacks. Like Goff is full on fist pumping. Don't hurt yourself, Jared. Like Blau almost fist pumped so hard that he fell down, and then he turns around and sees all the coaches there who he didn't know were in the room. Like that's just like heartwarming stuff.
Good stuff.
And like that just makes me want to root for them as like individuals, even more so just like the business end of like football.
Yeah.
Just my main takeaway.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a super good moment. Cool moment. Heartfelt moment.
Really heartfelt.
I enjoyed it. Watched it a couple times.
Did you guys have any other main takeaways from the Lions camp?
I would say I'm not nearly as like excited as you.
People are raving about Hawkinson. I think we kind of expected a breakout, but I've seen multiple people say like he looks like the real deal.
I have already penciled him in to be a top 4 to 5 tight end in the NFL.
Well, that's good because, you know, last time we took a tight end that high didn't go so well. So it'd be nice to hit on this one.
Oh, I've already it's locked in. He will be. There's my prediction.
Okay, that's a little spicy. Top 4 or 5.
Dropatron? If you're talking about Dropatron,
Yeah.
like, come on.
I really think, we're early in Lions practice. I just put pads on today.
I think he'll be the 5th best tight end in the NFL this year.
Well, that's that's not risky then because you're saying that because then
Kelsey, Waller,
Kittle and Andrews.
Yeah,
that's safe. That's not.
I think he can be better than Mark Andrews. How about 4?
Shoot, I could see him being top 3 if one of those other guys.
Honestly, I could see him being 3rd. I can't see him in the top 2. The other
just truly on our market share. Who else is Jared Goff going to be thrown to?
I would take TJ Hawkinson in your fantasy drafts.
Hey, Evan, he connected to Amon on like a deep seam touchdown today in a 7-on-7. I know how like nerdy that is, but like that just kind of felt good.
Yep.
So stay tuned.
I can't wait. I can't wait to buy his jersey.
Can't
wait.
You're going to take him in the fantasy draft?
Yeah, probably.
I already have his like stat line in my head for him, and I'm not going to reveal it till we finish out where he's at in my top 25 list. So, but yes, keep an eye on that.
You haven't had him yet.
No.
52 grabs, 851 yards.
Whoa. Stay tuned for the top 25, the rest of the list. I think we're top 15 at this point. So stay tuned for the next 3 installments of that as we lead up to the season. Now it's the Alex Gillen Rumor Mill segment of the week.
Name doesn't usually get
presented by Codes Apparel. I'm going to give you guys a week off because I can't think of city that I know for sure off the top of my head right now. Oh, yeah, I do. Southfield, Michigan. What's their area code?
I know it. I work there, so I'll let Evan guess.
No, I need Alex to guess. So that'd be yeah, that was my guess.
248.
248 is right. It's 248.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yep, Evan had it.
Yep.
Codes Apparel, CODESAPPAREL.com. Find any area code themed or just Michigan, the state of Michigan logo in general theme on a shirt in a variety of colors, on t-shirts, hats, hoodies, long sleeves, and also Shot of Michigan sports apparel reside on that website as well. So go check that out when you have a chance. Okay, rumor mill segment of the week.
Not very good this week. No, depends, I guess, if you're into this.
Wait, Miguel Cabrera hit a home run tonight already. 500 watts.
Yes, he did.
So, rumor, when the Washington Huskies, travel to Ann Arbor, the rumor is that your Michigan Wolverines will be wearing all blue on that day. That
Really?
is the rumor of the week.
Really?
Yep.
Is the rule about the rumors of the week is you can't divulge where you get the information
Can't tell you
from?
where they come from.
Hmm.
But would you be excited about that?
Oh, absolutely.
See, some people might get jazzed up about it.
That's an automatic win in those unis.
It looks cool in the
Unless
spring.
they have their sweet freshman quarterback who's like ready to play. But we'll see by that point of the year. I can't wait to do game-by-game breakdowns for the college football season. Just eagerly waiting it. Good thing we have all these transactions going on. All right, the last two Detroit teams we have for this show, main topic 3, Tigers and the Red Wings. Lump them together because they made some moves, but none worthy of their own segment. Should we start Tigers first? They had the deadline, the thing.
You can take a nap during this segment because that's what Al Avila did.
The deadline thing. So it was a boring deadline. Yeah, as Alex got to. But I don't think that's a bad thing, really. I mean,
it is.
Really?
Do something.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I have an article here that looked at basically trades we've made since 2017
And how bad all of them are.
and kind of the returns we've gotten for. I mean, obviously it's different now because we're kind of supposed to be more in a buying. We're not buyers by any means, but we're getting to the point where we're like standing pat and kind of seeing where we go.
Just doing nothing and just not make playoffs ever.
So yeah, but I'm saying it could have been worse. So listen up. Since 2017, players we've given up. JD Martinez, Alex Avila, Justin Wilson, Justin Verlander, Juan Ramirez, Justin Upton, Ian Kinsler, Leonis Martin, Kyle Dowdy, Mike Fears, Nick Castellanos, Shane Green.
Like fires.
Players received: Dal Lugo, Sergio Alcantara, Jose King, Isaac Paredes, Jamer Candelario, Daz Cameron, Franklin Perez, Jake Rogers, Grayson Long, Elvin Rodriguez, Troy Montgomery, Raquel Hernandez, Willie Castro, Nolan Blackwood, Logan Shore, Alex Lang, Kyle Rakan, Joey Wentz, Travis Demeritte.
You don't have to tell me that they didn't get anything back in those trades.
There was a couple guys' names in there. Obviously, not enough
4.
that you would like.
I would say the only piece I could see being on our, there's 2 pieces, 3. Candelario I could see being on our team for, a little bit. Paredes, TBD. I want to see more of him.
He got hurt today.
Jake Rogers with the mustache has been a cool story a little bit.
But Willie Castro.
Willie Castro stinks. He's terrible. I want him off our ball club today.
Well, I was just
wanted
to see
one of the worst errors I've ever seen in my entire life, and he cost. It was either Schoolboy or Manning a win. It made me want to puke in my mouth. I woke up to it. I was in a nap. My dad was cussing at the TV, and then I got to see the replay. It was disgusting. So he makes an error every time he plays, and his offense isn't worth it. So
yeah, the Tigers are bad at trading. Yep.
Yes. So while I would like them to do stuff, I don't hate it. We just stayed pat, and we didn't sell the one guy. We didn't sell really anyone that was supposed to be good. We kept Scope, which I don't mind. Evan, I forget. Did you want us to sell? I forget.
I did want us to sell. I wanted us to sell, but then we were still in this wild card push. Scope's at his all-time high. You're not going to get anything in return in the future, so you might as well try to get him now.
If we don't sign him in the offseason, it'll kind of stink because we didn't get anything back. But as you can see from those trades, you don't really get anything back anyways. So I don't know.
I mean, I think it would have been hard to move scope with how the trade deadline went down. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah. It was like probably the craziest deadline of all time, and we just did nothing.
We just watched.
Vila might have just gotten overwhelmed.
No,
like, oh my God.
he took a nap, woke up, realized he missed free agency, and was like,
stop.
If we traded scope, I think we would have got like one prospect it was looking like, because they traded Schwarber and they only got one prospect in return. Maybe two prospects, but if you're getting two prospects, you're getting probably bottom tier of that team's farm system.
So the only trade we did made, if you hadn't seen it, we got rid of Daniel Norris
Dan the Fan Man.
Reese Olson, I think. I wrote down I have no thoughts on the trade we made, other than like I like Daniel Norris as a guy, and I don't know. I don't really care.
He slid in one of our friends' DMs like 10 years ago.
I don't care. Team who?
Ooh.
No, that was Shane Green.
Similar. Close.
Anyways, Daniel Norris. Baseball-wise, I don't think it really impacts us that much. I just like him as a guy, so.
Cool guy.
Prospect we got.
No idea.
I don't know, man.
No idea.
He was rated number 6 in Milwaukee's farm system.
Well, that seems all right.
Relief pitcher. He's got a solid fastball, but needs to improve on his breaking ball pitches. That's why he hasn't developed as fast through their farm system.
Look at you,
okay.
Sweat Lord, Tigers prospect, Brewers prospect guy.
Ain't nothing to it.
I'm a baseball analyst, so I'm just a draft analyst.
We all are
for
right
all
now.
major sports. So,
shout out to Eric Haas for AL Rookie of the Month.
Yeah,
isn't he like 28?
Yeah,
but he's still a rookie.
I saw a video of
if this
him,
is the first time playing the majors, you're a rookie.
You see the video of him mowing his lawn?
Yeah, it was nice.
It was an all-time dad thing. All-time, just Midwestern. Yep. My day off, I got to do dad things.
Got to go.
Great story. From all intents and purposes, he's a great guy. And is having a great come up.
Yeah.
And every time I turn on my TV, he's making a good hit in a clutch situation.
But I think, Grant, our wild card chase is officially dead.
Oh, don't say that.
I don't think we're going to. Yeah, it's dead because of all the wild card teams and the moves that they made. There's no way we catch them.
9.5 games back as tonight, and I wrote down this is the stretch of the season, specifically tonight. Starting we find out how good we are because we're playing the Red Sox, and then we play the Indians, who we always struggle against. But we could, if we do well against the Indians, we could sneak into second in our division, which I will take.
I told you we had to go 20 games over 500, and the teams leading the wild card had to go 5 games below 500 to even have a chance.
The wild card games back, I realize, is so misleading because you can maybe be 8 games back, but it's still such a big gap.
Yeah, it's going to take at least 20 games to eliminate that if you're playing out of your mind and the other team sucks.
Yeah, so
it's almost impossible.
I guess we just hopefully find some good prospects for the rest of this year. The guys, we got to figure out what guys we want to keep around for the long haul. I don't know.
Alaville might be.
If we sweep the Red Sox, I'm back in drinking the Kool-Aid wild card push. Who's with me?
I'm not. I will not. I jumped in last week for the first time.
I'll drink the Kool-Aid
if we sweep the Red Sox, I'm in.
No, I'm out. I'll be out no matter what.
Well, it called me negative earlier. I think there's a good dose of negativity over there.
I'm super negative about the Tigers because I don't love what they do in terms of the management.
Oh, you mentioned management. Yes. Before we move on to the Red Wings, they might have said, I didn't listen to the quote. I just read it. Did he say we're spending money this offseason? How definitive was it?
No, it was more like...
and by he, I mean Chris Ilitch, the owner of the Detroit Tigers.
More like someone gave the scenario and he's like, it's possible that could happen.
Is that what he sounds like?
It could happen. You wouldn't be surprised if it did happen.
Well, that makes me mad because everywhere I saw
it's not like he was like, we are spending money.
All the aggregators like Instagram accounts, writers I saw said Ilitch says the Tigers will be aggressive this offseason. He did not say we're going to be aggressive.
It was more of it wouldn't be a surprise if we're aggressive. Not we're going to be aggressive.
Oh.
It was very tiptoey, and people are taking, we're not going to do anything.
I don't even know what aggressive, I don't even know what aggressive looks like for this team anymore.
Probably.
The days of dropping bags are long gone, it feels like.
Probably bags on Jose Iglesias of the world.
Well, that's Evan's guy, don't.
Yeah, I knew he'd get excited about that.
That's not the
see his web gems recently and how filthy his glove still is.
Yeah, he's a great fielder.
I can't. That's not the shortstop I want. I'm sorry, Evan. If we don't sign Carlos Correa, I don't know what to do.
What about Corey Seager? He's going to be available.
I don't hate it.
I don't love him
I'm a
as
big
much.
Correa guy. They're about the same to me. I just like Correa a little bit more. Don't give me Trevor. I don't want Trevor Story.
Correa's got the most swag. Give me him.
No, it comes back to swag.
Yeah. If we're gonna suck,
We need to buy someone else too. Like I don't know.
We need a lot.
We need to like spend like $80 million this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like not in total, like for the whole contract, for like bumping us up
This
80 million.
season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we do,
we need to be like we need to be like a top 15 expensive roster in the MLB.
we were top 5 a few years ago. Seems like a few years ago, more like 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
we're like bottom 5 right now or something. It's bottom 7. And when we think about like that's with Mickey. If you take out Mickey, we were spending like $40 million total.
We're spending like $40 total.
Basically like an Xbox video game on our whole roster. Yeah, I mean that's basically enough of them. They didn't really do anything, but should be mentioned. Now for the Wings, they are still they're kind of in free agency here.
Evan, I'm kind of waiting for all these big, fat, flashy things to happen, and nothing's happened yet.
Whoa.
So now I'm a little disappointed in you because I got all excited last week about this new plan that we had, and now it's not happening.
That was the like dream situation.
Well,
if that was going to happen. That would be like
any of them would be good.
Evan Cadmus steps into like the assistant GM role, and I just like keep on whispering that into Stevie's ear, and he just happens.
Softly.
Do you think you'd be allowed to call him Stevie?
No,
I don't even think I don't think anyone except for guys what do you think like he makes Chris Draper or like other guys, the scouts that used to play with him, what do you think they call him?
They probably call him what they
Steve.
call him when they play.
Probably Steve.
No one's calling him Stevie. No way.
Don't people call him that though?
Maybe
People
his
call him Stevie
close
Y.
personal
Stevie,
friends.
yes, they call him Stevie Y.
Close personal like
Well,
family
wouldn't you
members.
say if you were like a player? But it comes weird when you're now he's your boss.
Yeah, it's no, I don't.
Interesting dynamic. Anyways,
Yeah, sorry. Tangent.
Evan,
Are
if
we
you
going to
need-
sign any of those guys?
if you need any pronunciation help, I got you. I looked up some pronunciations.
Pew Suter.
First, I'm going to say to calm Alex's nerves down.
Yeah, please do.
Eichel
Is on the
his
way.
camp is absolutely like raging right now because they want him to be traded, and so it's just a matter of when we give up a like second round pick for him.
They released an alarming statement about like how mad they are at Buffalo. How like Buffalo, it sounded like Jack Eichel was on the surgery table and Buffalo just yanked his body off and said, "No surgery for you." Like
Yeah.
crazy.
No, not good.
No, I actually really messed up.
And not a Red Wing yet, Evan. So
This
Yeah.
podcast will perform the surgery on Jack Eichel himself if need be.
Pretty good. So like all the like free agency moves that we're doing, there's a plan for it because you're seeing like 1 or 2 year deals. And that is so Steven Yzerman is like planning out like the books, like we talked about the salary cap books, so where he can splash in free agency when we're like more quality of a team.
are we
We're not going
waiting?
to go out and sign somebody this year because we're not competing for a Stanley Cup.
Do we have any gross like cap holds and stuff on the Red Wings as we do with the
I thought we got
Tigers
rid of
and,
most of
Pistons
the
or no?
guys.
I believe we did get rid of most of them, but they're like Franz Nielsen is still a bad contract.
He's like 40.
Because we forgot to mention Blake Griffin is freaking killing this Pistons team from doing anything.
We still might be paying like medical cap towards Zetterberg. That's contract should be gone.
I think Zetterberg's contract is on our books still.
I thought it comes off this summer.
We just got rid of Johan Franzen's contract like last year, 2 years ago.
Wow. That feels like a lifetime ago that he was on our team.
Yeah.
The mule.
And then we got rid of a lot of our old guys.
We're still paying Steve Yzerman's contract.
I mean, he deserves it. So
As a player?
Get it? Because it's a joke. Because he's our GM.
I thought you could have
Good
got
one,
that right.
Alex. Thanks, guys.
But I mean,
So
the
Pew's
Suter guy
Suter.
that we got from Chicago, still young, still talented.
Is that Pew Suter?
Yeah,
Pew's Suter.
Suter.
Second line center?
Say his first name.
He-
one time. Pews.
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 Puce.
Pews.
25 years old.
Suter.
Stolen from a rival.
Yes, he's still young. They gave up on him.
Not a good sign.
Talented. It's a great sign. I think it's a great sign. He's potential to be a
Fantastic
second
signing.
line starter.
Yes. That's what I penciled in too. Look at us, Evan. I'm becoming a Red Wings guy.
Yeah, you are. You're all in. He played minor league hockey, not in the AHL. He played like, I don't know what you want to call it. He played on the Storms team with Bertuzzi and Fabry. They played all together on the same line. Now you're
Chemistry.
going back to the guys that he's comfortable with playing with.
They balled out.
I think he's only going to get better.
27.
It's something where you're taking a chance where this young talent, he's not going to hurt your team. He's only going to potentially make it better into where you're stealing a free agent.
Yes.
But
Yes.
he's not Jack Eichel.
No. He's only played in one season.
Not getting Eichel yet.
27 points in 55 games. I wrote this kind of painted a picture here. So I believe, from what I understand, he was a restricted free agent, and so Chicago has first rights, and I guess they weren't landing on a deal. And I don't know how our guy, Mr. Yzerman, I won't call him Stevie. We're not on that basis. He has such a pulse on this league. I wrote, he's like a shark. He smells blood, aka friction with a player and a team, and he just attacks that team. Like, he took I would call him Needle. He took Alex Needle from Carolina because, like, something happened there where, like, they couldn't get a deal done. And then somehow he senses that Pius Suter is upset in Chicago, and he just jumps in it like a shark and just bites his ankle and takes him to Detroit. I mean, this guy, Mr. Yzerman, has his finger on the pulse of this league. And did you notice in the expansion draft, we were the only team that did not have our pick leaked early? Mr. Yzerman knows what he's doing. And he's all over this. He's all over this league. He knows when there's frictions in different places. He's like, oh,
for a while.
Chicago Blackhawks aren't going to pay you what you want. Pius, come to Detroit. And they watched him play us. Like, I think he did really good in games against us, so we got to see him play in person. I think it's perfect. Not perfect. It's good. Perfect's like Jack.
Alex, you want to hear some bad news, man?
No.
Oh, no.
Call me when we sign Jack Eichel.
It's not too bad. The roster's looking relatively good. We got rid of most of.
Who's still on the books? Just give me the bad news.
What's his name? I'm missing it. Oh my gosh, I can't think of our old GM's name.
Ken Holland.
Kenny Holland. All of the old contracts. Danny Kaiser is still on the team. Yeah. I know he's a Western Michigan grad, but he's $5 million and he can't defend. So, then we have a dead cap for Richard Panik. For 2 more years, 2021.
I hate that
22
cap.
Season and
dead cap is the worst
season.
rule.
Here is the worst thing you're gonna hate coming out of my mouth.
Oh, no.
Justin Applicator, love him to death. Michigan State, legendary,
national champion.
However, he could not score a goal, and I think I would have a better chance scoring a goal than him. We bought his contract out, and there's still 3 years left on that buyout contract.
Yikes.
2.3 for this upcoming year, 2.3 for 2022, and then just over 1 for 23-24.
Gross.
But good news, Evan, we re-signed your guy.
Tyler Bertuzzi, young talent. He only played in 5 games, so happy that we did that.
Any relation to Todd Bertuzzi?
Yeah.
Yes, he's his nephew.
But the interesting thing I saw from hockey Twitter, Red Wings Twitter, is that it's a 2-year deal. So it's like we're keeping them, but we're still feeling them out, which is advantageous for us in a cutthroat way. Like, it takes him right until he's an unrestricted free agent. And it's like, all right, like, you're with us, but if you don't perform in the next 2 seasons, we can move on from you.
And if you look at the salary cap hits in 2023, 2024, there is one person that's under contract.
Really?
2023, 2024, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unrestricted free agents, 2 restricted free agents, and 1 person is under contract for 2023, 2024.
Wow. We got a lot of re-signing to do if we like our guys. Yeah, we're
like Franz Nielsen's terrible contracts up after this year. Good to see. Other than that, there's no really any bad contracts besides him and DeKaiser. The glaring contracts are pretty bad. Well, that Yzerman hasn't signed.
Evan, what's your go-to salary cap website?
Spock Track.
I cap friendly for the Detroit Red Wings. It's laid out beautiful.
I'm a spot rack guy, but I might have to check out cap friendly.
In 2022, we have a bunch of draft picks again
that we're going to trade for offensive
thoughts
players.
On Mitchell Stevens?
Steve Yzerman drafted him. He's still young, still kind of developed. He's a little shaky offensively, but I think this is Yzerman where, like, he drafted him. He knows how he is. He's given him a chance in Detroit, more playing time, that type of thing. It's going to help.
Is he the Hamidou Diallo of the Pistons? Drafted him by the old GM, didn't perform that great, bringing him over.
I don't think he'll be
sure. I'll name that tag. Give it to him.
All right, we've got our Hami. Yeah, we need to love on offense still. That's my only takeaway. I need more scores. But I like the way our defense is shaping out. And I guess from what I'm seeing projected lineups, Mo Sider is going to be in the bigs this year. We're going to get to see him play.
if everything goes according to plan, that's what everybody is saying.
All right. Speak that baby into existence. All right. That's our show, boys. We made it through episode 32. Social accounts at ShotUpMS on everything except for TikTok. TikTok is ShotUpMichiganSports full out. Same as our email. Our email is ShotUpMichiganSports@gmail.com. For the social accounts, where you see clips, graphics, all that stuff, just kind of highlights from the episode each week. And also Twitter, like we could do more live reaction, like normal. Like Instagram, you can't really give your live reactions to like Tiger's highlights and stuff. Twitter, like we post highlights, kind of more quick hitting stuff. You can DM us on there if you have any questions, or just comment around in the post if you want to kind of get in the mix there. How to listen to this show: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, depending on what you're listening on. Please follow it, download it, subscribe to it, leave a 5-star review. Good reviews only, please. And share the link with a friend, potentially, if you're listening. You're like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And lastly, any questions that you want answered, any topics you want to discuss, please reach out to us, either email or DMs. Anyway, you can reach us. We're very reachable people. Just let us know what you want us to talk about. With all that being said, cheers to episode 32. Cheers to...
Don't do that.
Yeah, dude.
I thought you'd cheers to something else.
I just do cheers to episode 30 to close out 32, and then I raise and say cheers again.
Double
So
cheers.
cheers to, for me, the Pistons Summer League, which I'm actually going to watch this year.
I'm all in on Pistons Summer League. I'll cheers to that. Cheers
do
to
it.
Cunningham wearing a Pistons jersey in like 4 or 5 days.
Number 2. We unretired number 2, baby.
I will cheers to that. I was going to cheers to this cheesecake in Outer Banks that I'm going to watch in a little bit, but Summer League is cool.
Cheesecake review out of 10. What is it?
9.3. Wow. It's really solid. Really solid.
From where?
It came in my HelloFresh box. That's not free advertising.
Yeah, we'll bleep that. I'm going to try the bleep feature.
Yeah, bleep would be super fun.
Alex's F-bomb.
Drop my F-bomb.